Today's episode is a special one. Today, we're going to talk about the value of executive career coaching and how it can net you as much as $500,000 over the next 5 years. So let's talk through that. My name is Tom, and I'm the founder of the Executive Career Accelerator, where we help you find, land, and excel in your first or next executive role. If that's interesting to you, be sure to follow me here on YouTube. You can also connect with me on Instagram at TomCoxVM. And I also have a website, vmleader.com, that you can go to and learn more about the Executive Career Accelerator. With that, let's start talking about the value of executive career coaching today. You feel like you're ready to move up in your career from maybe the manager level or even the individual contributor level. Maybe you're like a really highly skilled software developer or a salesperson or something like that. And you're ready to move into the executive ranks. You want to be a senior director or a VP or even someone at the C-suite. But you don't really know how to do that. And maybe you're a little worried that you're not necessarily qualified for an executive role. Or maybe you're missing some executive skills and you don't really know where to learn them. Should you go get an MBA or something? And where do you even find executive roles? Like, not a lot of them listed on LinkedIn. And I can tell you the secret is most of them are not listed anywhere, but we'll talk about that. How do you take the next step in your career is basically the question we're asking, right? So let's talk about what not to do first. So what not to do to take the next step in your career. And I think we're all guilty of these at some point in our careers, passively browsing LinkedIn for jobs that might suit you and then just pressing easy apply on them. How many times has that worked out for you? Not very many for me. You could complain to your partner, your spouse, or your peers or friends that you could be doing so much more in your career than you're doing. That's not going to help. You can wait for an opportunity to find you. And that happens from time to time, on occasion, rarely. You can also be great at your current role and just expect to be rewarded with a promotion, right? Because, if you're the best manager, of course you're going to get promoted to director, right? Well, yeah. Maybe you should get an MBA, and I can tell you that personally, after $50,000 in 2 years of my investment in MBA, they don't really teach you what you need to know in order to be an executive. They teach you a lot of business stuff, but not necessarily executive skills. I learned that the hard way when I started a company halfway through my MBA and realized that I was completely unequipped to actually run that company. I had to learn all of my executive skills on the fly by myself without any coaching or mentoring, and certainly little to no value coming from my MBA program, which taught me a lot, but nothing about how to be an executive. And the worst thing you could do is, well, nothing. Just sit there and, again, hope that your career just takes care of itself, that your manager sees what an amazing person you are and promotes you. Well, I would say that's not what you should do if you want to actively or proactively move your career forward, because you're not taking control of your executive career when you do these things. Let's talk about what being passive about your career is actually costing you. Primarily, it's costing you a ton of compensation. Let's talk about this. So I've taken the title and salaries of several executives that I've worked with recently over the last, say, 12 months or so. And on average, they were making somewhere around 125K with a 25K bonus. Some are making more, some are making less, right? But this is about an average rate. All of them grew into higher level roles, some of them with different titles, but at the end of the day, they had about the same executive level, right? And in terms of compensation, their compensations are all very similar in these ranges: 180K base, 80K bonus, and this ranges. One person that I worked with, he's making well over, I think, 250 base and 100 bonus. Some people are on, the lower side of that, but you get to the executive level and the big salaries start to unlock for you. So in this case, taking a director making 125 with a 25K bonus to a VP making 180 with an 80K bonus, this person is making $90,000 a year more than they did before the promotion. That's almost $500,000 in just 5 years. It's $450,000 over 5 years. Think about that. What if you could make that career jump now instead of waiting 5 years for that opportunity to show up randomly at your doorstep? That is real value of coaching. Another way to think about what coaching can do for you. Where are you now and where do you want to be? This is what coaches help you do. They help you go from A to B. And so in terms of your executive career, where you would be now if you're not quite a direct or a senior director or a VP, you're not an executive yet. You might be feeling frustrated, undervalued, certainly underpaid. You might be job hopping. You might be going from role to role, job to job, company to company, trying to find a fit culturally, trying to find a way to, have the influence that you want and need to build an organization the way you think it should be built, right? If you're not job hopping, you feel stuck because you just can't go anywhere. You can't move up, you can't move out. You're just stuck. You probably hate networking. You're probably disgusted with office politics. I know how that feels. And you don't really know how to find the really good roles that are out there. You hear of friends of yours getting, I'm happy to say I've been promoted to, or I'm excited to announce my new role as. How did they hear about that job and you didn't? That can be frustrating. Maybe you don't have any mentors to help you through your executive career as you grow into that executive role. I certainly didn't have the mentors that I wish I'd had. In retrospect, this made me take longer to move to the executive ranks. It caused me a lot of challenges once I became an executive. I didn't have someone that I could go to and confide in. So that's where you are now without an executive career coach. And maybe you don't know how to learn the executive skills that you need. And all of this can lead to, in my case, I felt a certain amount of shame for not being able to provide the lifestyle that I wanted to provide for my family when I was not making the money that I thought I could and should make. It was very frustrating and a little embarrassing for me. So I understand that. So where do you want to be, right? You want to be energized and excited. You want to go to work. You want to lean into your work and be excited and passionate about it, right? You want to feel appreciated and seen. You want to know that people see you as someone who is a game changer and a needle mover in your organization. Of course, you want that huge compensation increase. So we just talked about, in some cases, 90K or more in a year. You can move the needle pretty far on your salary and your total compensation when you move up to the executive level. You want to be building and leading your own teams. We just talked about that, the sense of actually leaning into who you are as a leader, being authentic and motivating and inspiring the people that work with you and for you. Leading and managing in an authentic way that is true to who you are, not some fake persona leader that you feel like you have to be. The more you are yourself, the better a leader you will be. With a coach, you would have mentors and a mastermind group on your side. A mastermind is basically a group of people that are peers like you, other executives, where you can get together and you each share issues you're dealing with, and together as a group, you all work to solve those issues together. As an executive, you have that much more growth potential to move even higher in executive ranks once you've unlocked that level and unlocked the hidden job market, where you can now interface with executive recruiters who are probably sending a bunch of new opportunities your way regularly. And you'll have a sense of pride for being able to provide for your family, right? So that's where you are, A, and where you want to be, B. And so what's in between? How do you get from where you are now to where it is that you want to be? You're stuck here at this level. You're frustrated. You're not going anywhere. You don't know what to do. You don't even know how to learn or how to find the opportunities. And then you're over here on the right side. You're exactly where you want to be, where you have all of these things going for you. What is in the middle? What is in between? Well, if you think about it, this is how we think about what you do to get promoted to the executive ranks. You work hard and you get results. If you're seen as a hard worker and everything you do produces tremendous results, you should be promoted, right? No, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. The truth is that if you work really hard and you continue to get great results in your role, you will lock yourself into that role. You will always be seen as the perfect example of the individual contributor or the manager or the director or whatever you are. If you work hard and get results in the role that you're doing, you will be rewarded with more work in the role that you're doing. I know it's a little insidious, right? But that's the truth. In order to move into the executive ranks, there's a whole lot of things that are in between just working hard and getting results and being promoted. So let's talk through them. The first is a whole set of challenges that come with moving up in your career, right? Job recs are hidden from you. You don't know where they are. The egos and personalities of the people above you and beside you who are jockeying for the same roles. You may be suffering from a lack of confidence in how you move forward. Nobody likes dealing with office politics except for the political people who create them. And finally, you might be in a location that's remote, or you're not as visible to the executives who hire you as you might want to be, and that visibility can extend to other opportunities. Maybe you're not visible as much as you should be on LinkedIn, for example. What we do is we go through a bunch of steps to kind of go through those challenges, but then we also build a bunch of other skills. As I talked about in an earlier video, we spend a lot of time going through self-reflection. We come up with what our life goals are. There's an Ikigai exercise, which I mentioned in a previous video, which is a super powerful way of understanding what your life purpose is and how you can build a career around it. That helps translates into career goals, and then a 5-year plan from which you can now build a personal or executive brand that people can now understand who you are, or at least who you want to be, who you aspire to become. After you've done that, we go through a bunch of upskilling. And so this is building your self-confidence by building your executive presence, which is how you're seen as an executive, your executive style, which is how you manage and lead people, your communication skills, which is how you communicate as an executive, and your strategic thinking skills, which are incredibly important at the executive level. From there, you learn how to activate your network. And here you're doing networking both online and in real life. You're building your executive brand, which we talked about in an earlier video. You are a thought leader. You're seen as someone who's putting really good content out there into the world that speaks to your knowledge and understanding of your industry or your trade or your skill or your area of expertise or whatever it is, right? We also build on your networking skills so that you can continue to network both online and in real life. And then finally, you go through learning all of the things you need to close the deal, right? Interview preparation, interview skills, negotiation skills. A case study example, and this would be as you interview with a company for a role that you're really interested in, you would bring with you some sort of case study that demonstrates that you're thinking strategically either about that company, that position, that industry, and so forth. So that's part of how you would close the deal. And then when you do close the deal, you have a 90-day plan for the first 90 days in your role, right? That are all the things that you have to go through to become an executive, right? And so it seems like a lot when you look at it this way, but there's a process for this. I have taken the work to codify this into a comprehensive coaching program for aspiring executives. This is all based on what I wished I had 13 years ago when I started my executive career. I wish I had someone who could walk me through these things. To talk about what I've built, again, I call it the Executive Career Accelerator. It's where we help you find, land, and excel in your first or next executive role. And those 3 words are important: find, land, excel, right? So you find the role. Knowing where to even look for the role is part of the challenge. When you land the role, that's when you've interviewed and negotiated the right package, the right opportunity, the right role for yourself. And then excel. I'm not like other career coaches who help you land the job and then say like, good luck, I wish you the best, call me when you need to go through it again, right? Now, I found that it's really important to lean into those first 90 days together with the client. That's what I've been doing more and more now. And so now this is part of my base program, which is for the first 90 days, we work together and you can ask questions and get help and support as you settle into your role. just to kind of talk about the program a little bit, 5 modules. The first module is self-discovery. This is where you kind of figure out what kind of role in what kind of industry, doing what kind of job would you want. Maybe you don't even want to be a full-time employee anymore. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, or maybe you want to switch industries, or maybe you want to switch roles, or maybe being an executive isn't for you. Self-discovery is a really important part of all of this. It's so important that I put it in front of everything else. Then we work on developing and honing executive skills. And I've worked with some executives who have 20 years, 30 years of executive experience, but they find that these skills actually, these are great refreshers and also updated for the 2020 era workforce as opposed to the 1990 era workforce. Go through, modules to kind of lean into and learn executive presence, executive style, executive communications, things like that. Then we have network activation, and this is where we work with you to build out your LinkedIn, build up your resume the right way, and to find opportunities both in person and online to really stand out in a crowd and get your message out there. And that's in the form of doing a bunch of executive brand management and development and other things. Interviewing and negotiations, where we literally go through mock interviews. We work together with you to negotiate the best package for you. We're there every step of the way through all of that process with you. And then the first 90 days, as I mentioned, is an opportunity for you to work with a coach, getting acclimated to that executive role, not just feeling like you're out there on your own, like, hey, I helped you on LinkedIn, I got you your job, good luck. No, there's more to it than that. And that's a really important component when you compare what I do to other executive career folk. They're helping you get the job, but they don't help you keep the job. So that's an important piece. And the other thing is that in addition to all of that, in my group, in the Executive Career Accelerator, you're going to work with real, no kidding, executive headhunters, people who have worked for Goldman Sachs or are actively doing executive search for large corporations right now. So those are partners of mine that are inside of this program. So you will meet and work with them directly one-to-one. We will also work with you on optimizing your LinkedIn in the ways that are best suited for both executive search headhunters to find you, but also how to get through all of the HR bullying stuff. There's a way to optimize your profile so that the right keywords are there and the right combinations of keywords are there. And the profile is set up in a way so that they don't age you out or find other ways to passively discriminate against you. So I know it is pretty nasty, but there's ways to optimize your profile, and we do that with you. We work directly with you on optimizing your profile. You don't have to do it alone. This is not just a series of videos and a chat room. It's way more than that, right? There's a lot of hands-on help here from everybody that's a part of this program. We teach you how to actually reach out to hiring executives or executive recruiters. And if you're not comfortable actually reaching out on your own, you don't really know what to say, we have scripts that you can use to actually just follow along when you reach out, either by email or by phone call or direct messaging or other ways. We'll help you get past the issues of not necessarily not knowing how to do this kind of outreach. We help you do that, really holding your hand through the whole process. And we help you bypass HR gatekeepers. HR serves a purpose, but at the end of the day, what you want is, you don't want your resume to stand out amongst all the other resumes that HR has put together. You want the CEO to walk a hard copy of your resume down to the HR professional and say to him or her, I want you to include this person in the list of people that we're going to interview. That's what we do. And finally, like I said, this is one-on-one coaching. There are group calls. There's masterminds. There's all kinds of ways to work and learn in this program. What you want to do is take 3 to 6 months and invest that time into your career so that you can skip losing all of that money. Like I said earlier, you're losing a ton of compensation by not taking control of your career and moving yourself to the executive ranks. If you're a manager or a director, or you're even an individual contributor who's been an individual contributor for a long time, 10, 15, 20 years, and you feel like you would be a good executive, why are you not? Why are you not an executive yet? Think about that. We can help you get there. And doing so, you bump your compensation up to a point where you could be earning an extra $500,000 over the next 5 years. And think about how that helps you get to a place where you want to be, where you can retire, where you can pay for your children's college, where you can live in the neighborhood you want to live in, right? Take those, international vacations instead of driving to the lake. Here you learn the skills that you actually need in order to move your executive career forward. We'll teach you how to unlock that hidden job network for executives. You will learn how to become an authentic and confident version of yourself as an executive, not wearing a mask, not being someone that you don't want to be. If you're not a loud person, you don't have to be a loud person as an executive. You can be a quiet executive and still be a great executive. If you work with me, you would be working with a coach who has actual executive experience. I've been an executive for 13 years, and I have proven client results. You can see some of the testimonials on my channel and on my webpage and on my Instagram. So far, all of my clients have landed executive roles. All of them are making more money. They are happier in their role. They have wide open green field in front of them in terms of growth and opportunity. It's exciting to see all of these people being as successful as they are. I hope you want this success for yourself, and I hope that you're willing to consider jumping on a phone call with me to talk about how we can help you move forward in your executive career. The link here below, vmleader.com/workwithtom. That is the link that you can go to schedule a call with me, where we'll talk about whether or not you're a good fit for this Executive Career Accelerator program. Maybe you're not ready for this, and maybe this isn't the right way for you to move forward in your career. But let's get on a call and talk about it and see if this is a good fit. Because if it's a good fit and you go through this program, you will be successful, or we'll keep working with you until you are successful. And then when you are successful in moving up in your career, you're going to be so happy about where you are compared to where you started. So that's what I got for you today. Again, my name is Tom. This is Vertical Motion. The Executive Career Accelerator is the program that I run. You can follow me here or on Instagram at TomCoxVM. If you got any questions, leave comments down below or DM me on Instagram. And I hope I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.